Welcome to the Black Man in America podcast. I'm your host, OG Foxy. Today I dive into the heated exchanges between Vice President Kamala Harris and Donald Trump and the political dynamics shaping this crucial election. I'll also explore Minnesota Governor Tim Walz's growing influence and much more. As you can see, we have a lot, so let's get to it. Vice President Harris. Harris said, "Let us be clear. Someone who suggests we should terminate the Constitution of the United States should never again have a chance to stand behind the seal of the President of the United States." This is true, and someone who is convicted of 34 felonies should be disqualified for running for president. Vice President Harris said, "I'm glad that he's finally agreed to a debate on September 10th. I'm looking forward to it and hope he shows up." Yes, this is going to be good, so get your popcorn ready because Trump is going to be a bumbling fool. Kamala Walz are traveling the country to see packed stadiums of energized crowds, while Trump is home bitching and complaining. Tim Walz said, "I trust women to make their own health care decisions. Republican abortion bans are dangerous and reckless. It should be between a woman and their health care providers." Walz said, "We respect our neighbors and the personal choices they make, even if we wouldn't make the same choices ourselves. There's a golden rule. Mind your own damn business. I don't need you telling me about our health care. I don't need you telling us who we love. And I sure the hell don't need you telling us what books we're going to be reading." This is all part of Trump's Project 2025 agenda. Walz on Vance said, "I can't wait to debate the guy. That is if he's willing to get off the couch and show up." Ouch. That hurts. Walz said, "Yes, these guys are creepy and weird as hell. You see it. This is not normal behavior. Nobody's asking for this crazy stuff." And he's 100% correct. Walz said, "Make no mistake, violent crime was up under Donald Trump, and it's not even counting the crimes he committed." Walz said, "In Minnesota, we believe in the Second Amendment, but we also believe in common sense gun violence laws. I think assault weapons should be banned in America." Walz was named most inspiring teacher. Here are memories from some of his students. He was probably one of the most well-liked teachers in the school while he taught there. He's standing true to what he believes in. Both Tim and Gwen had this magic of helping you see possibilities and potential in yourself. Walz ex-students say he protected them from homophobic bullies. Walz taught American history, culture, and English for a year in China. In 1989, volunteering with Harvard's World Teach program. During their honeymoon, Gwen and Tim led 2 high school tour groups there. 40 million Gen Z can now vote, and they love themselves some Tim Walz. J.D. Vance attacks Walz's honorable 24 years of military service. Walz's military to politics record. February 2005, Walz filed to run for Congress. In May of 2005, Walz filed retirement documents. July 2005, orders to deploy came in. He was not ducking deployment like Bone Spur Trump. Walz said, "You should never denigrate another person's service record. Anyone willing to put on that uniform, including my opponent, I just have a few simple words. Thank you for your service and sacrifice." MAGA are calling Tim Walz Tampon Tim. Walz signed a bipartisan law that requires schools to supply free menstrual products for all menstruating students in grades 4 through 12. The law does not specify that these products must be placed in boys' restrooms. The decision on placement is left to individual schools. Minnesota is one of 28 states providing menstrual products in schools, including Republican-led states like Georgia, Ohio, and Utah. Trump Vance, meanwhile, want to know when your daughter is menstruating, wants to legislate what she can do with her body, and even force her to give birth to the baby of her rapist. Walz slams Trump's pro-billionaire anti-worker policy, saying, "Who do you know who's asking to cut taxes on billionaires while stiffing working people?" That would be Trump. Vance. The Washington Post got Vance's text to white supremacist Charles Johnson. Vance said, "Dude, I won't even take calls from Ukraine." He told that to Johnson in October, about 3 weeks after House Republicans blocked additional aid to Kyiv to help Kyiv repel Russian invasion. Two very senior guys reached out to me, the head of their intel, the head of the Air Force, bitching about F-16s. Vance is out here giving a speech to 86 people. Vance responds to people calling him weird, saying, "I think the weird argument honestly came from a bunch of 24-year-old social media interns who were bullied in school. I'm a normal guy, but I beg to differ. It was Walz who penned the weird moniker on Vance and Trump." Vance has called for law enforcement to have the power to monitor menstrual cycles, to enforce abortion bans. Weird is an understatement. When reporters ask why Trump has such a light campaign schedule, only one event, Vance says Trump is very busy. He's busy golfing. Trump's first big attack on Kamala Harris backfired as he slams Walz for embracing policies to allow convicted felons to vote. The problem is Trump himself is a felon. He was convicted on 34 counts in New York for his hush money crimes. In other words, Trump is implying that he himself should not be able to vote. After witnessing Trump's press conference, reporters are wondering if Donald Trump is being confined to Mar-a-Lago to hide his diminishing cognitive abilities. It's obvious to the majority of Americans that Trump is not cognitively well enough to be president. Trump cited the Rasmussen poll while pretending he's ahead in the polls. He angrily melted down about crowd sizes. He said he nearly went down in a helicopter crash when ex-San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown. Brown said he never been on a helicopter with Trump. Trump confused Willie Brown with Jerry Brown. Trump claimed that everybody, including Democrats, wanted Roe v. Wade to be overturned. Trump and his cronies wanted it, not the Dems. Trump declares no one died on January 6th. Ashley Babbitt was shot by Capitol Security and 4 officers died within 36 hours. We witnessed a scared, whining, deranged criminal have a meltdown in front of the whole country. Trump attacks Jewish Americans who aren't voting for him, saying they should have their heads examined. Trump needs his head examined. Mary Trump brutally attacked her uncle. Disastrous Mar-a-Lago press conference saying that he looked so lost, and at one point it looked like he was gonna cry. I like that one. Big crybaby Trump. Trump online purposely misspelled Kamala Harris's name as some sort of dig. His attacks are just impotent, weak, and really low energy. All his election offices are closed. No TV ads. One campaign stop in Montana. He is broke. He is giving up, hoping his elector scheme steals it for him. Trump claimed on Fox and Friends that Harris' pick of Walz is very insulting to Jewish people since they didn't pick Shapiro. Many voters don't know that Walz wrote his master's thesis on how to improve education on the Holocaust. As governor, he pushed for a mandate to teach about the Holocaust in Minnesota schools. Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, confirms that Trump called American service members suckers and losers, refused to visit their graves, and that he didn't want to be seen with amputee veterans because it doesn't look good for me, is what he said. Trump is the loser for dodging the draft. In a stunning new leak, a photo of Donald Trump and Kevin Roberts, the author of Project 2025, flying in Trump's private jet, has surfaced. Again, Trump is Project 2025. Trump said, if you look at our administration, the most successful administration from the economy standpoint, well, this is all a lie. Trump left office with the worst jobs record since the Great Depression. More Americans now have jobs than they ever had under Trump. ABC News obtained audio of Donald Trump praising Tim Walz's handling of the George Floyd protest in Minnesota. Trump said, very happy. I fully agree with the way he handled it. Walz is an excellent guy. Polling. Kamala Harris now leads Trump in all major polling averages. Harris now leads by 13 points with women, 55% to 42%. She has gone from a 23-point lead with black voters over Trump a couple of weeks ago to a 54-point lead. Harris is up by 9 with independents, 53% to 44%. She was down 4 points with them last month. Harris has gone from 40% with white voters overall to 46%. A brand new national poll from Marquette, results taken August 1st, Without Robert Kennedy Jr., Kamala leads 53%, Donald Trump 47%. With Robert Kennedy Jr., Harris is at 50%, Donald is at 42%, and Robert Kennedy Jr. is at 6%. She leads Trump 42 to 37 in the latest Ipsos poll. That's a 5-point lead. Cook Political Report shifts in Arizona, Georgia, and Nevada towards Kamala Harris as she gains steam. Republican pollster Frank Luntz said, "Let me emphasize, I do believe that Vice President Harris is now the front runner in this race. I know that Trump people mind will explode, but Harris has got the intensity and she's got the momentum. And don't forget, she is more likable than Donald Trump." Republicans for Harris member encourages Pence to endorse Harris. "Your voice can make an enormous difference." Donald Trump on Vice President Harris said, "I don't know how she debates. I hear she's sort of a nasty person, but not a good debater. But we'll see because we'll be debating her, I guess, in the pretty near future. It's going to be announced fairly soon." Well, Trump is the nasty guy, and ABC says Donald Trump and Kamala Harris have agreed to a September 10th presidential debate, setting up a face-off between the two. Trump caved only because he's losing in the polls. The social scene, we have Georgia State Election Board voted 3-2 to make it easier for a county election board member to delay or refuse to certify November's election. The three who voted in favor are the same ones Trump called out by name and described as his pit bulls fighting for victory. These people are crooks and should be arrested immediately. First fake elector convicted in Arizona's fake elector case, Lorraine Pellegrino, a prominent Republican in the state, has become the first person to be convicted. Pellegrino pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor charge of filing a false document in an effort to help Trump overturn the election results. This is all due to the Electoral College. The majority wins would eliminate all this crap. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz have raised $36 million in the first 24 hours since Walz joined the ticket. Harris-Walz campaign rally in Detroit has been moved to a larger outdoor venue, Detroit Metropolitan Airport, after more than 50,000 people have reservations for the event. Trump never drew crowds like this. Kamala Harris owns a gun and is fully trained in its use. Tim Walz is a hunter with multiple rifles. They are not coming after your Second Amendment rights. They bring you common sense. Tim Walz has worked to ensure kids are given free lunch to help them with their learning experience in Minnesota. New reports say Kamala Harris and Walz rally in Philadelphia have 14,000 attendees. For comparison, Trump's rally at the same venue had 4,000 attendees. Donald Trump says he was best at bringing out a crowd, but Harris continues to outdo him. So he has to lie about his crowds and make up stories about hers being AI generated. The Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints state they are abandoning the Republican Party for this election. There are 2.1 million of them in Utah and almost a 500,000 in Arizona. If a good percentage of them vote Democrat, we could hold on to Arizona and possibly flip Utah. More religious groups should be doing the same because Trump is evil. Gymnast Simone Biles will formally announce her donation of $4 million to the Harris Walz campaign. According to a source at Sports Illustrated, the sum of $4 million represents $1 million for each of the 4 medals she won at the Olympics in Paris. This is money well spent. The Harris Walz campaign raked in a staggering $1 million in 24 hours from sales of their viral camo hat. The initial run of 3,000 hats sold out within a half hour as demand exploded. This is much more than Trump's golden sneakers. That's all for today's episode of Black Man in America. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on social media for the latest updates. Thank you for listening, and may God bless us all.